I would never buy these. Hey guys, it's Laura. Welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, I do videos on luxury handbags, shoes, shopping, travel, topics like that. So if you are interested in any of those topics, please consider subscribing to my channel and joining our luxury posse. So today I'm going to be talking about the 10 handbags that I would never buy. Never to me is a very loaded word, so I don't like to say it too often, and you never know. I might change my mind, and I'm sure that we all have at one point said, I would never get that, I would never consider it, and then what do you know, we find ourselves buying it down the road. But these are 10 bags that I really don't think I'll ever add to my collection, so let's start with the first one. Now the first bag on my list is a bag that was instantly very controversial. It's a recent bag, meaning I think it just came out this year, and the word that was on everybody's mind when they first saw it was trash bag. If you guessed the Chanel 22, you are right. That is the first bag that is on my list of bags that I would never buy. Now, I do see some people having a change of heart over this bag. I think when they see it in person, they are liking it much more than they thought they would. However, it's a design that I've never really liked. I don't really like those slouchy, hobo, kind of like catch-all sort of bags. I like a bag more with structure. It also reminds me of a bag that I made in home ec or home economics. If you're in the States and you are a little bit older, you might be familiar with that class. I don't think that they offer it anymore. And honestly, I think my middle school was one of the last schools in the country to offer this class. But it was a class I really actually enjoyed, and it was a class where you learned how to cook and sew and just learn like household skills that every kid kind of needs to learn to get by in life. But it's no longer offered, unfortunately, I don't think. But one of the projects that I did have to do was sew a bag, and that bag looked exactly like the Chanel 22. And anytime I see that bag, I think about it. Now, I liked the bag that I made, but it was a fabric bag that I sewed on a sewing machine. So to me, the look of the bag isn't really luxury to me. However, I do know that there are a lot of people now who might disagree with me when I say that. But again, it's just not the bag for me. Also, I've seen a lot of issues with it on Instagram. On the front of the bag, they have Chanel written out in metallic leathers, which are glued onto the bag. And those letters have been falling off for a lot of people. So already there are quality issues with this bag, which is not an uncommon issue, unfortunately, for a lot of design houses when they come out with a new bag. I mean, just look at the Pochette Matisse for Louis Vuitton. That bag had so many issues when it was originally released with the glazing. So I'm sure it's an issue that they will hopefully fix, because I don't see this bag going anywhere. I do see new colors coming out for 22A, including that gorgeous green and caramel color that everybody loves. But you can get this bag in a small, a medium, a large, or a backpack. So it is a bag that I think it has a very niche following. And just because I don't like something on this channel doesn't mean that it's ugly or that you shouldn't get it. If you like it, go for it. It's just not one that I would add to my collection. Number 2 on my list is the Bottega Veneta chain cassette bag. Now, I do like the cassette bag design with the original strap, which is the leather strap. I think it's a gorgeous, unique, and understated design. It's also very timeless. But when it comes to the one with the big chunky chain, it's a little too trendy for me. I know big chunky chains have been in style for a while now, just look at the Chanel 19, but it's a very trendy item that I don't know if it's gonna stay around for a long time, which has also kind of been what has been my hesitation with the 19 bag. But then take the 19 bag and the cassette bag has an even bigger, chunkier chain. And the other problem with that is that it's a very heavy bag. The chain serves as a way to wear the bag crossbody, or you can just use it as sort of like a top handle bag. And honestly, I think the best way to carry this bag, if you were to add it to your collection, would be top handle. I don't know how anybody could use the chain crossbody for a long period of time. I just look at that bag and I instantly feel shoulder pain, which is something that I deal with consistently on an everyday basis. So I'm not going to want to add to that if I don't have to with a heavy bag. And for that reason, this bag is a bag that I would not add to my collection, but I would consider the cassette bag with the leather strap. 3 on the list is a bag that has what you could say is a cult following, and the people who own this bag tend to really, really love it. It is the puzzle bag from Loewe. Now, there are a lot of things about this bag that I do like. For example, you can get it in grained calfskin, which is a leather that I really do enjoy. I appreciate the durability of it and the elegant feel of it. And Loewe is one of those brands that it's really like, if you know, you know. So if you have this bag, a lot of people might not instantly recognize it as a designer bag, and that's something that fans of this bag tend to enjoy. They tend to enjoy a more understated elegance and, you know, going out and not having everybody know that you're carrying an expensive handbag. The bag is also very versatile. You can carry it handheld, you can carry it as a shoulder bag or crossbody, which is a feature that I do like. I do like versatility in a bag, and I think most people do. I also think the leather from Loewe is very nice and high quality. It's just gorgeous, as I mentioned earlier. I do like a grained calfskin. But when it comes down to it, I wouldn't add this bag for a simple reason, and it's just that the design doesn't do it for me. I mean, some people really love the look of this bag. For me, it doesn't make my heart sing, it doesn't make me excited, it doesn't make me think about it all the time. And when I'm buying a really expensive bag, I tend to want to add bags that I just can't stop thinking about. And for me, that tends to be like a Chanel Classic Flap or maybe a YSL bag, but this one just doesn't do it for me. Number 4 on the list is a new bag again, and it is a very trendy bag. If you follow any fashion influencers, any luxury handbag influencers on Instagram or other social media, you may have seen this bag. It is a very hot item, and it is a definite no for me. It is the Saint Laurent Icare bag. This bag is just, first of all, I'm 5'2". It is way too big. It is a huge shopping tote bag. There are things about the bag that I like. I really like the quilted leather. I always think that is a classic, gorgeous design. YSL has some of the most amazing quilting that you can find on the market apart from Chanel. If you like a quilted bag and you don't want to spend the Chanel prices, Saint Laurent is definitely your brand to look at. But again, for me, this bag is just way too big. Not only is the bag itself too big, I am 5'2". I feel like if I wore that bag, half of my body would not be visible. But the logo for me is just way too big. Now, the logo size makes sense. This is a really big bag, and so the YSL being that size does proportionally look better, I think, than had it been smaller. But for me, the monogram is just way too big. If I'm gonna have a monogram on my bag, I want it to be smaller. I don't want it to be in your face. I know logomania is a big trend and some people love that. So if you like big bags, if you like big logos, if you like the quilted stitching, this could be a bag for you. It also comes with a pouch, so you're getting 2 items in one, so that is also a plus. But a negative for me as well is that it is made out of lambskin. And now I do own lambskin bags, but the biggest lambskin bag I own is a Chanel medium classic flap. And this is a huge bag. I think it's way too much lambskin. So for me, not only is the size a concern, but the wear and tear of so much lambskin is a definite concern as well. And it's just too extra for me. It's just too big. I don't think it would suit me at all. Number 5 on the list is the Valentino Roman stud bag. Now, the one thing I do love about this bag is the leather. It is a gorgeous, supple, soft, buttery Napa leather, and if you love that kind of leather, this could be a bag for you. What I don't like about it is, number 1, I don't really like the top handle. I think it's kind of an awkward design. It's this thick strap of leather, and I don't know if it would be comfortable to carry in your hand. It might be comfortable over the arm, but again, I just don't really like the look of it. I don't like how it kind of falls over. It looks awkward and weird to me. So that is something that really turns me off from that bag. I do like the quilting of the leather and how pillowy it is, but I don't like the studs. To me, the Roman studs are just a little too big for my liking. If I'm going to do a stud, I prefer a smaller stud like the rock stud. But again, I don't know if those would really suit this bag. So for me, the studs, the hardware, it's just a little bit too big, a little bit too much for me. But I don't think this bag is ugly by any means. It's just not really my style. If you are looking for a more edgy bag, I think this could be a really good bag for you. But if I were to get a pillowy bag, I think I would go with the Chanel 19. This bag reminds me of that bag a lot, but I prefer the Chanel 19 and its design a lot more. 6th on the list is the Dior saddle bag. Now I know people love this bag, and so this might be another controversial one, but for me, I've just never really cared for the shape of this bag. I remember when they first came out with these bags in the early 2000s, and they were such a hit because of Carrie on Sex and the City, and I just really didn't like the design. I feel like it's an awkward shape to hold your things, and it does fit a good amount as long as you're not getting that teeny tiny one. But for me, again, it just doesn't do it for me. It's not my favorite bag. It's not my favorite design. If I were to get a Dior bag, I would really have my heart set on a Lady Dior or a book tote. So it's just not one that I would really gravitate towards. Now, I would make one exception. There is one that I did see and I really liked. And if I find a picture of it, I will pop it on the screen. But it was this gorgeous white, like pristine white, bright, beautiful canvas Dior bag with the navy lettering, and just like the tabs were in navy, and then it had the gold hardware, and it just really popped. It was so gorgeous. But it was this pristine white canvas, and for me, that was just a major scare factor. I knew it was going to be just a magnet for color transfer, stainings, getting dirty, things like that. But it was so pretty. That was, if I were to buy a Dior saddle bag, it would definitely be this one. Now, number 7 on the list might have some of you screaming again because it is a very popular bag, and I feel like owners of this bag are diehard fans. They live for this bag. As soon as it looks worn or a little worse for wear, they run and replace it. But for me, it's just not a bag that I can see adding to my collection, and it is the Louis Vuitton Neverfull. Now, again, I feel like this bag is a little bit polarizing in the luxury community. Again, like I said, some people absolutely adore this bag, and it's very often people's first designer bag. And it's one that when I was younger, I was interested in just because I saw so many people wearing it, and it was just a bag that was on my radar. But for me, I'm not really a tote person. I own 2 totes at the moment, the Tory Burch Perry tote and the Chloe Woody tote. And the Perry tote, which is very similar to the Neverfull, is a bag that I don't really ever use. I think I use it maybe like once or twice for travel. But if I were to get a tote bag like that, I think I would want it to be for work. And I don't know that I would necessarily want it to have the Louis Vuitton monogram or the Damier Ebene print. They're very recognizable canvas prints. And so if I were to be back in an office, I don't know that it's what I would want to carry to work. I would probably want to add a tote in a neutral leather, like a black or a tan or white, but not something that had a designer logo all over it. I also don't really like the straps. I don't like thin straps. Again, as I mentioned earlier, I do have a lot of shoulder pain, and so those straps tend to kind of exacerbate it for me. So again, I know that a lot of you watching this probably love that bag. You probably have it in your collection and you're screaming at me, Laura, it is the best bag ever. I love it so much. But it's just a design and a style of bag that does not really appeal to me. Next on the list isn't a specific bag or a specific designer, but it is more a trend and a style of bag, and it is a micro bag. Now, these bags are absolutely adorable. I think they're so cute. It's very easy to see them in the store and fall in love with them. But for me, they're just not functional. Now, I know that some people say that they're fine carrying just like maybe a card and a lip balm and a car key, and that they carry their phone in their hands, and so they don't really need to put their phone in their bag. But some of these are just way too small. A lot of them are actually just a card holder with a chain so that you can wear it crossbody. And to me, it's just not justified. The price is way too high for them. They are a trendy item. So I feel like if I were to buy this bag, I would just be wasting my money, because as soon as the trend was over, I would be out 2, 3, 4 grand because I bought this micro bag, and then it might be hard to sell because the trend is gone and it's not a functional bag at the end of the day. So it is really something to consider. I mean, I think it's very easy to get taken by something's cuteness. If you're a collector and you plan on keeping these little pieces in your collection forever, then go ahead, buy them. But if you are a person who buys bags and thinks, oh, you know, if I stop wearing it, I'll sell it later. Well, chances are if you stop wearing it, a lot of people aren't wearing it either, and so you probably won't get your money back for it. And I think that's why a lot of people say, you know, stick to the classics when you're making big purchases for these designer bags. You want to have something that stands the test of time and protects your money so that you can sell it later if you need to. Number 9 on my list is a bag that also has a cult following, and it is from Hermes, and it is the Picotin bag. This bag, it's a cute bag, but for me, I just don't, again, I'm not really drawn to it. I'm not a big bucket bag kind of person. I don't see myself carrying this bag. Of course, if you like that style of bag, it is a bag to consider because it is one of the bags that is not a quota bag from Hermes. The quota bags are the Birkin and Kelly, and I think in some areas the Constance bag. So again, this bag is not one of those, which means that you have a much higher chance of getting this bag offered to you or actually being able to walk into the store and buying it if they have them available. Some people love it because it's Hermes and the leather quality is exceptional, and people like bucket bags. But again, I don't really like bucket bags, so it's not really a bag that I see myself carrying at the moment or adding to my collection. Now, number 10 on the list is actually a bag that I do like, but it reminds me of another bag that I want more, and for that reason I wouldn't add it to my collection, and it is the Fendi Peekaboo bag. Now, this bag is a gorgeous bag. It's a bag that I don't think will ever go out of style, and I think it is so timeless, but it reminds me a lot of the Hermes Kelly, which is a bag that I like better. So for that reason, I just wouldn't want to add it to my collection because I feel like if I were adding it, I would be adding it in place of the Kelly when what I really want is the Kelly, and that's something that I try not to do. Sometimes I think we really have our hearts set on one bag, but because of the price, we might go with a bag that is similar in design but at a lower price point from another design house. And at the end of the day, doing that doesn't usually take away our desire for the bag that we originally wanted. And so I think that when you do that, you tend to spend more money than you would have. And I think I made this mistake early on. I always really wanted a Chanel Classic flap, and so I started buying flap bags from other design houses that were at a lower price point, but I still really wanted that Chanel. And so what I should have done was, instead of buying other bags that I thought might take the place of what I really wanted, I should have saved that money and just waited a little bit longer for what I really had my heart set on. So guys, that is it for today's video. Again, these are just my opinions, and these bags are just bags that either don't suit my style or they're bags that I might be purchasing in the place of another bag because they're at a lower price point. And like I said, I learned early on that that's not really the way to go, at least not for me, because I'm still going to be wanting that original bag on my wish list. Now, if you do have these bags, I am by no means saying that they're ugly or that you should get rid of them or sell them. I don't want anyone's feelings to be hurt because that is not where I'm coming from at all. The only bags I might suggest if you want to consider selling something would be a micro bag while they're still in style, unless you're an avid collector. But if you bought those bags with the thought that you might be able to sell them one day, just know that bags that are trendier are often harder to sell later on and recoup your money. So it's just something to keep in mind. But if you like those micro bags, wear those micro bags. Let me know in the comments below if you agree with any of my opinions, if you have any of these bags. If you like this video, please consider giving it a thumbs up and subscribing to my channel. Click the notification bell so that you don't miss any of my future videos, and I will see you guys in the next one.